Hello, boys and girls. Lord Hawkeye here again. Isoton asks, will you make a video about the comic 24 Types of Libertarians? Well, ask and the Lord shall answer. Well, at least this one does. I can't speak for any others out there. Anyway, this is a comic that's been out for a while, and yeah, pretty much everyone's made fun of it. Even the Mises Institute has made fun of it. They actually did a counter version of it, which I will link down below for your amusement. But hey, if you want my input on it, I'm all too happy to oblige. Yeah, everybody, I haven't done a lot of videos these days because just not a lot of ideas. So if there's something I haven't covered and you think I totally should, please drop me a line and tell me so. I'll give you credit for asking, and hey, we can do more like this. Anyways, let's take a look at the comic here. The 24 Types of Libertarian. No fair oversimplifying our simplistic philosophy. Yeah. As you can tell, this is going to be good. Okay, let's see. The first one. Naive. If the government would disappear, everyone would act sensibly and we'd all be able to get along. Oh dear. Yeah, that is a problem, isn't it? Well, what do you propose we do about that? Simple. We have these same people elect a small group of rich guys among them and give them all the money and all the power and expect them to totally respect that power and not abuse it. I totally cannot see a problem with this plan, he lied. Good grief. Can you say projecting? Next. Petulant. Libertarians don't win elections because we're too pure and good. Well, what are you saying here? That your guys do win elections because they're pure and good? George Bush won 2 elections, and most leftists I've talked to think he's some kind of cross between Hitler and Sauron. So, a little consistency would be nice. Too smart for science. Obviously, climate scientists made up global warming because they're socialists. Okay, look. It's like global warming, I really don't care about all that much for one simple fact. Governments are the biggest polluters in the world by far, by any measure, even if you don't count wars. The very fact that they deficit spend is all the proof you need of that. So anyone who's really serious about the environment would be going after them first. Since the majority of global warming and climate change scientists and all that sort of thing are not calling out the government at all, then I'm afraid I can't take anything they say seriously because their actions just reek of ulterior motives. I'm sorry, but that's just how it is. Arrogant. Clearly you've never read the evidence. What, expecting people to read evidence is arrogant? And yet, you expecting people to just take your word unconditionally on matters totally is a sign of your humility? Up is down, black is white, poisonous is nutritious. Good grief. Left wing. I'm here, I exist, I'm against government and corporations. Why does everyone always ignore me? Okay, first of all, left-wingers are not against government and corporations. They have always supported them whenever it worked in their favor. Both parties are guilty of this. On the other hand, libertarians are against government and corporations. They are against the idea of government giving out protection from liability for bad behavior. They have said this repeatedly. I don't know where on earth you would get the idea that they're for corporations. That makes absolutely no sense. Ugh. The denialican. Just because I voted Republican every election for 20 years is no reason to call me a Republican. Okay, this one I will actually grant you to some degree. There are a lot who are guilty of this. Like, there's a lot who say, vote for Republican because they'll shrink the government, like Aaron Clary and the such. Yes, Aaron Clary, I'm calling you out on this. I love your stuff, but good Lord, man, would you please stop promoting the Republican Party because they are not for smaller government just because they say they are. Politicians lie. You know this, I know this, we all know this, so can we please stop pretending? All right. More libertarian than thou. We should privatize the police. People who can't afford to pay the cops won't have anything worth stealing anyway. Okay, this old chestnut. Okay, so poor people can't afford police, but they can afford to have the government yank over half their money out of their paychecks and keep the majority of it for themselves and spend the crumbs on police and other sorts of essential services just to buy their votes. Basic arithmetic. You suck at it. Let's see. Terrified. Big government is coming. Thank God I've stockpiled so much ammo. Yeah, come on. Fearing the government's no problem. It's not like they haven't killed 250 million people in the last century alone, not even counting wars. Oh, wait, yes they absolutely have. I mean, come on. If we shouldn't be if an organization who's killed millions of their own people and gotten away with it over the years isn't something to be feared, what the heck is something to be feared? Good grief. Too much Heinlein. Lazarus said that all men are created unequal. It's not my fault I'm smarter than poor people. Oh, here we go with this one. All poor people are innocent victims. None of them are there because of bad decisions or just poor foresight. I'm sorry, people, but no, every poor person out there will try and sell you a story of victimhood. Some legit, some not, but you can't just take that at face value. And honestly, people who try and sell you a story of victimhood, they are telling you very clearly, I'm going to let it happen again. I have not learned anything from it. I'm just going to, if I had the chance to do it all over again, I would make the exact same mistakes. Because even if your poverty is the result of bad luck, you still should learn. It's still a way to learn and grow from it. People who just tell you, I'm a total victim about it, they're probably going to let it happen again anyway, even if it wasn't totally their fault. So, enough of this nonsense. The Island. No one ever gave me anything, so don't force me to give it to others. Public school grad, drives on public roads, social security check. Oh, here we go. Here we go with this one. Government gives themselves a monopoly on a service, and you're a hypocrite for using said service. Okay. Where do I even start with this? So, you're denying people option X and then calling people hypocrites for not picking option X. That's really shitty behavior, I have to say. And the real dumb thing is, these are the same people who go on about, oh, we'll have monopolies if we have a free market, it would be horrible. And yet, according to your own logic, say, like take Rockefeller for an example, even though he wasn't really a monopoly, despite what people say, but let's say he was. Even if he was, according to your logic, anyone who bought oil from him thereby totally supported him and thus had no business opposing his so-called monopoly. People, you can't have it both ways. Either monopolies are bad and should not be allowed, including when government does it, or monopolies are totally fine based on this very flimsy logic you use here. Pick one. You can't have it both ways. Creepy. Why should I have to go all the way to Thailand to have sex with a child prostitute? I have absolutely no idea where you got that from. You're just whipping this out to try and discredit people, and really, using child prostitution just to advance your own political agenda is pretty sick and shitty behavior, I have to say. Shame on you. Selectively frugal. The deficit is too high to afford anything for the poor and the environment, but don't let that stand in the way of my tax cut. The deficit is so high because governments can tax you. When they can tax you, they can borrow on the future productivity. That's the only reason deficits even exist. If you got rid of taxes, there'd be no deficit either, and there would be much more money to afford to helping the poor or the environment or whatever cause you wanted. It's ridiculous. Get rid of taxes, get rid of all the government spending, get rid of all that, get rid of all these middlemen who don't do anything but just soak up money and produce nothing, and there would be enough money for everyone who can, there would be enough money to have a job for everyone who can work and charity for everyone who can't. Alright? Enough. Nepotist. As the latest of a long line of wealthy pundits, I know success is created by merit. Good grief. Okay. Listen, so rich people bribe the government for special privileges to keep themselves rich, and this is an argument. Yeah, it's true. It is true that rich people use the government to keep themselves rich and keep other people from competing with them. Folks, that is not an argument in your favor. I don't know where you're getting that idea from. That is absolutely an argument against government. Because in a free market, the poor overturn the rich quite quickly. You can see it over several generations. Those who inherit wealth don't tend to be very good at handling wealth, and so they end up losing it, so you get rags to riches again. That's how it works when you don't have a government keeping insiders in and outsiders out. That's what governments do. The Apostle. We just need to trust the magic of the market. We'll make everything work out. That's why it's magic. I do not know of a single person who subscribes to this. For example, the market does not handle anything. The market is just a matrix of ideas and individual desires. It can't handle anything. Now, on the other hand, the government is an entity that everyone trusts to handle everything. And despite the fact that it fails at everything it tries, you still keep saying it's totally the answer. So this is just projecting of the highest order here. And a really bad understanding of what free markets are. Jeez. The Atlas. Someday me and my friends will quit updating our blogs and the economy will collapse. I'm sorry, what? The economy is going to collapse either way. I don't know what you're getting that from. Consistent. Stocks were up, so I said cut taxes. Then stocks went down and I said cut taxes. I just stubbed my toe. Cut taxes. Yeah. Stealing is wrong, so stop doing it. Doesn't matter what's going on in the background. I don't see the problem here. The Historian. I've read summaries of the Federalist Papers many times, so I know the framers share my views about everything. No. They still believed in small government. I believe in no government, so we parted ways on that. We agreed on a few things, but not all. I don't know what this is speaking to. Gunner Joe. There are only two kinds of people in this world, gun owners and sheep aren't really people. The old gun control stuff. I'll make this very simple. People, your government's got guns. Quite a lot of them. In fact, they have guns that nobody else can have. So you're not for gun control, you're for one wealthy elite having all the guns. So really, cut the nonsense. Let's see. Bizarrely hypocritical. Government should stay out of our personal lives, except for women's uteruses where government belongs. Oh, yeah, this is just Republicans claiming they're libertarians. Please don't be fooled. Let's see. Briefly tempting. The war on drugs is ridiculous. End police abuse. Fuck the war. Why is it only briefly tempting? They're pretty good points, and you should stick to them. Whitey. I do think it's a terrible affront to liberty if restaurants have to serve blacks. How is that racist? Oh, this old chestnut again. Yeah, there's just one flaw here. Let's reverse the colors here. Let's say there was a restaurant that only served blacks and wouldn't serve whites, and someone lobbied for some law forcing them to serve whites. Guess what, guys? We would oppose that law too. It's not a question of racism. It's a question of it's his restaurant, it's his stuff. He gets to choose who he does business with. That's his own decision. If you don't like it, take your business elsewhere. And really, being racist doesn't actually pay in the free market, despite what you people love to delude yourselves. If someone will turn down a well-qualified black guy and hire a poorly qualified white guy, well, guess what? His business is going to suffer compared to the guy who makes more sensible decisions. So, and on top of that, have you looked at the White House lately? It's 99% old, rich, white guys. So why exactly do these guys get a pass? And no, people, one black president does not offset all that. So really, don't try that nonsense. The Missionary. You must read this! Ayn Rand, Atlas shrugged. Okay, anarchists agree with Ayn Rand on some things, but not all. So really, you might want to stop polarizing like this. And whatever you think of Ayn Rand or not, she is a very prolific writer and a very important figure. So please stop dismissing, stop hand waving her like this. Caveat emptor. No need for a nanny state. I can test my own food for botulism. Oh, and this one. Either government does X or X does not get done. False dichotomy. Yes, because only government could ever test products for safety. No one else ever does that. Hello, Underwriters Laboratories? Yeah, I'm afraid you're going to have to close up your shop because according to Mr. Expert over here, you don't exist. Oh, wait, you do exist? So the guy writing this comic is an idiot? Oh, okay. Thanks, just wanted to make sure. Way to go, idiot. Stoned, hee hee hee. I have no comment to that. Well, there you go. That's our comment to this. And make sure to check out the Mises version down below. I think you'll find it quite amusing. And there you go. If anyone else has a question or something you'd like me to talk about, please drop me a line and I'll see what I can do. Until next time, be aware and be wise.